Welcome along in Desert Whale Podcast, episode 003. As ever, I'm Greg.
I'm Richard.
And today we have...
Tommy.
Who is our little guest. Not just somebody that's coming off the street, an actual guest.
Well, kinda. On today's podcast, we'll have a topic and a bit about our comic, which is mainly artists, which again is...
Tommy,
good. We have reading, watching, playing. We have a quick fire quiz, which is new this week.
It is.
See what you think of it and give us feedback. And we have a debate. Close it all off. Marvel against DC. Worst characters.
Which has the worst characters? Delicious little debate.
Delicious.
Delicious.
It's pretty good. This week's quite a good show this week.
It is. So have a wee listen.
Let's go on, mate. Ding it out.
Okay, so this is the first part of our podcast this week. We're going to do a wee bit of talking about our comic and the art in comics. But first of all, let us introduce you, all you dear beautiful listeners, to our friend and our artist for our comic, The Plight. It's Tommy Cree.
hi there.
Oh, so natural.
So very, very natural. As you can hear, he's ecstatic to be here with us.
I was going to be like, yeah, hiya.
Okay, that's Greg. But yeah, so we've got Tommy with us for this week. He's in all of the features and whatnot. We're going to talk to him a little bit about our comic, how he got into art in the first place, and just generally have a wee chit chat just about all that.
Chin waggery.
That's the one.
Commence.
Aye, exactly. So we'll start off I'll just ask you, Tommy, who are you and how did you get into art in the first place?
I've always drawn ever since I was young.
Continuously?
I did stop for breaks.
It's in my head. I'm like, what?
Sorry. But I'd always drawn when I was little. Through primary school, and I've always loved superheroes and the comics and stuff like that. But then I kind of stopped doing it when I went to high school, put it on the back burner, and
Gosh, you weren't cool.
I think I was just more interested in getting into big boy stuff.
I thought you were going to say girls. But
So that
incorporates girls and later on.
Right, big boy stuff like drinking beer,
Drinking beer and
smashing windies.
stuff like that.
Aye, right, there you go. Okay.
Stuff like that, aye. Pretty much.
Oh well, right. Okay, so when did you get back into it then? What made you want it? What made you?
I'd always kind of doodled and stuff like that, but I don't know. It was just a few years ago, and I just kind of thought that I needed a hobby and an outlet and something to do. And I kind of thought back and thought, well, I was always quite good at drawing. So I started to get back into it, and as it went on, I became a wee bit better because I was rubbish when I first started it back up, and then I got really into it, and it was all I would do all weekend. You know, I wouldn't go out on Saturday or Sunday because I wanted to be fresh for Dame drawing and stuff like that on the Saturday and the Sunday.
Oh, right.
Pretty committed.
Oh yeah,
I was just really enjoying it, and then it wasn't until I seen
So sorry, you spent all day just drawing?
most of the day, yeah, stopped for breaks for something to eat and play some computer games or something like that, but that would be pretty much it. And then Monday to Friday it would be a couple of hours minimum a night,
awesome.
most nights, not every
Fucking
night,
hell.
but most nights.
It's commitment to the craft. So you say you started a few years ago. Then it's was that around the time that we all sort of started to get to know each other when we started drawing for the Plight?
It was probably about a year before that
Right.
that I started getting back into it and kind of, I don't know, rigorously training for something. I wasn't sure what it was going to be.
Right.
And then I saw the advert that you guys put on Gumtree.
Yeah.
I saw one previous to that about 6 months before, but I thought, there's no way. I'm actually ready to draw it.
That was probably ours as well.
It probably was ours, and we were sitting there for 6 months going, for fuck's sake. Right.
It took us a while.
I did, but were you looking for specifically a comic book project, or were you just looking for an outlet in a more structured manner than just putting pencil to paper or pen to paper?
Nah, it was always going to be comics. It had to be a comics project, otherwise I wouldn't have.
Wouldn't have gone
I wouldn't have went.
That's the thing, because you're saying that, like, you used to do all weekend and all night and that, and like train, if you like, but it must be quite difficult to train for something like deck and what you're doing it for. That makes sense. You put that craft in and then hee haw with it.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it's like you need to give yourself or find the inspiration to take it up to the next step. If you've got a talent, then you might as well share it, which is what you're doing now. So So obviously we're really thankful for that, and I think we were sitting there for almost probably 6 months waiting for a reply.
I got to the stage where we thought we'd just try it ourselves. Just try and draw ourselves, and then decided that we tried that, and everything we drew looked terrible.
Yeah, I think it might have been about 5 minutes each combined.
Yeah,
that we probably drew for, and
a lot of it was covered in big wallopers.
It was actually after a few pints. Aye, there you go. That's pretty cool.
But then I started actually drawing the comic, and that's when like I realised actually just how hard it was. And all I had done before that was just like pictures, images, postery type things, and when I had to kind of apply that to panels on paper and backgrounds, foregrounds, designing characters, making them all look the same, or trying to make them look the same from panel to panel.
Aye, I was about to ask about that. Yeah, so what we did when we all started, we all had a wee chat together. And for anybody that is listening, that's got this desire to draw for comic books as well. I mean, hopefully this helps you guys. We sat down with Tommy and we gave you a couple of character bios. Did you find them helpful in the process of,
yes.
of trying to draw along? Oh, good. Right, okay.
They were quite in depth though.
They were really in depth. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a really good point actually. So from that perspective, as an artist, do you need one that's like 6 pages long or whatever, however long we made our one? Is it easier for you to have that one? So do you feel like you get to know a character, or is it easy enough just to have?
Well, it looks like essentially.
Yeah.
I suppose an image would be pretty helpful also, but reading the bio, it was kind of like getting to know the character, and you built the image up in your mind by getting bits and pieces of information as you're reading through them.
Aye.
Whereas if you kind of gave somebody a picture of it, I don't know. It certainly worked for me when you guys did.
So do you need stuff like, was it a lot of overkill, or do you need like stuff like how he walks and?
You don't need stuff like that.
No. He was abused as a child and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Unless it's part of his main kind of.
That's quite a grim character.
Unless he walks around all the time telling people about how he was abused as a child. Unless it's part of his kind of core personality.
He's got it tattooed on his face.
Something like that, yeah. I wouldn't say that it was.
Right, okay. No, that's good. That's also good for us going forward, because we're going to do some more, and some of the questions that we got asked in the character bios, because we found them online. And so I modified them to suit us, and some of the questions that they asked you, we were just like, why does anyone need to know that?
It was like, are they right-handed or left-handed? And I suppose that's
right-handed is quite right. That's quite an important one.
Are they? Anyway, there were some stupid fucking questions.
Aye. Do they talk about a lisp or that? You're like, well, what's
that? That's it. Yeah. Aye. It was like, well, I don't know. You can't fucking hear him. So we got the script up online via Gumtree, and what was it about the script that when we gave you it?
I just got an advert. Concept.
Aye. So what was it about the concept that appealed to you?
Obviously, the fact that it was a comic.
It was 2 guys from Edinburgh that were doing a comic and needed an artist was the main bit.
Perfect.
I liked it. Well, was that important? Was it important that it was local, or would you have went online?
I wouldn't have liked to have got into something like this with somebody who didn't get to meet face to face, certainly. And it was not like there's any kind of money up front or any kind of transaction thing. It's just all built on trust, isn't it? So I would have had to have met them face to face for a definite.
That's what we talked about before we actually put the adverts up and everything, because we had put it on forums and whatnot, and people from like Romania had got back to us saying, "Oh, just give us $4,000 and we will do comic for you."
That was the best response we ever got. There's a genuine response as well. It was like, "Give us 4,000 euros," and we were like, "Nah, not happening, mate." And then he went, "Of course not. No one's got this kind of money. 2,000." We're like, dude,
no,
calm your shit.
Obviously, you know how to bargain, but you don't know how to bargain. Sorry, that was another thing for anybody listening. We went on a Gumtree and just looked for local people. We were going to go through. We always wanted somebody who we could also meet face to face and have meetings with every now and again, and just see how everything's getting on. See how everything's progressing. If there was any questions, it's easy enough to speak to each other, and easy enough to do these things face to face, and get ideas flowing.
Yeah,
between the three of you, or between the two.
You might write something down and think it's all hunky dory, but in our panel descriptions, it could be something come back and be like, that can't be drawn. You can't physically draw that on one panel. So
yeah,
be part of the creative thing. The one thing I will say about this whole Gumtree thing was, there was a severe lack of forums or places to go to try and get people local wise. Gumtree was about it. It was that Zwol
yeah,
forums, like ZWOL. Found that, but that's mostly America, Europe. Whereas if you try and find like one local, or like a Scotland or a UK based one, I couldn't find it.
It's not there.
It's not there.
Yeah.
There's a wee gap in the market.
Aye, there you go. Again, if you are going to look for artists online, then we had an experience with a girl from California again, where she said she could do it, and then she didn't speak to us for two weeks, and then got back to us saying she was too busy to do it.
Aye, and then goes, I'll do it, but at a slower pace than what you thought originally agreed. And then she said, what was it? Oh, I thought I replied to you. Like, no, you didn't. Can you reply now? And she's like, oh, I thought I already had replied to you the second time. You're like, nah, this is not going to work.
Why don't you just give us the reply that you thought you'd sent us?
Aye, just say no. Just say no, I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
Thing is, as well, that's the thing with my whole cashish. We're looking at that as well, but if you're going to get somebody from far away and go, oh, I'll give you the money up front, then you're never going to see.
Well, yeah, you're putting a lot of trust into somebody else that you've never met before. I mean, that's why it's. There
might be folk there that are willing to do it and will genuinely give you the artwork and whatever.
Well, that's it.
But
yeah.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. Yeah. That's maybe half up front, half later.
Well, that's what we were saying. If we were going to do it, like if you were going to do like a whole issue, if you would say it was like 12 pages, we'd give you half after 6 pages and then half after 12 pages. That makes sense. Giving anybody money up front was a bit dodgy because.
Especially all of it. Jesus.
Aye.
So leading on from your wish to do a comic and be involved in comics, now that you have almost completed an entire one, do you view art and comics differently now? Are you more appreciative? Do you cast a more critical eye on stuff now that you're taking part in it? Yeah,
I definitely am more appreciative of the artwork. Because I understand how long it takes, and I'm not even at the same level as a proper professional guy who's doing it, day in day out as a normal job. But these guys are mega talented, and other artists. I'm not knocking artists who draw landscapes and paint houses and stuff like that, or portraits or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's completely different. Like if you're a portrait artist and you try and draw a comic, you're going to find it really difficult. Like it's so hard.
Yeah.
So I totally do. But when I read comics now, I'm like, oh man, if it's a good artist, I'm like, oh, this guy's great. If it's a bad artist now, I'm like, that's rubbish. I don't want to read that anymore.
Does it
put you off completely?
It can.
Even if the story's amazing.
If the story's amazing, I'll probably get through it. But it can be off-putting if you're like, oh man.
I wanted to ask about that. Like, so if you read a comic with, say, as like New 52 style art, but the story is garbage, like Suicide Squad.
Oh. I'd contest. I'll go for Green Arrow. The Green Arrow stuff. You read it?
Anyway.
I've not read the first 3 volumes.
The ones that I bought and then found out it was shite.
But the volumes after that are shit hot.
I read that.
Is it frustrating? Is it frustrating that you see somebody who's got so much talent put work into a shitty story, and then you see, by contrast, people who are like they're completely minimalist, but the story's amazing? Is it frustrating?
The only time I find it frustrating is when I see something that's really minimalist and it gets praised and lauded.
Aye.
They're like, oh, this artist's amazing, or this artist is amazing, this book's amazing, and I'm just like looking at panels going, there's no backgrounds in that entire page, there's no backgrounds in the second page, or I just I can pick up little bits, shadow's not consistent, stuff like that. Nah. It's just getting a bit dickish, isn't it, really?
Well,
you just get
it's paying attention to your craft. That's
it's quite interesting. I think it's quite interesting because, like, obviously I'm not an artist, but from a reading point of view, sometimes I can look at some of the art and be like, I don't really like that. I say if you play a game that has bad graphics, it puts me off.
Yeah,
and I can be like, nah, I can't get it. The story could be great, but fuck it.
Yeah, it's got to suck you in.
Yes, it's definitely got to suck me in.
Right, have you any media that we can plug for you just now? You got a DeviantArt page, you got Twitter, MySpace, anything like that?
No. Yes, I have DeviantArt. It's Tommy Cree, all one word, DeviantArt. So that's about it, really.
Good.
Get on there, everybody, and have a wee look. Get in touch.
We'll make you a MySpace.
So that still exists?
Does it?
Still exists.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So does what's the other one that was shite?
Bebo.
That's the one.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And on that note, shall we get a ding?
Yeah, ding. Ding.
Right. So we are at our debate now.
Debate.
That's it. I mean,
tense, man. They get tense.
you made it really tense there. So obviously we've got three of us here this week, this podcast. So there's going to be a little bit of a slant on it. We have got a sort of a which is worse debate going on here, and we're talking Marvel or DC characters specifically. Well, it's not specific. It's not specific to heroes or villains. It's just characters. So, Greg and Tommy are going to be arguing about basically which ones have worse, and they've chosen 3 each. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a chance to plead their case, and then at the end of it, I'm going to say who's won the debate. Basically,
okay. I reckon it's going to be a debate that everyone wins.
Well, exactly.
Unless someone says like Batman, you're like, nah, big it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Although I've got Batman and I'll have to change that now.
Right, just think of something else. To be fine. Okay, so Tommy, would you like to enter the fray first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I shall.
Yes, I shall. I've got Marvel characters. The first one I decided to go with is just a hatred that I've always had for this particular character. He's a Spider-Man villain, and it's the Vulture.
The Vulture. All right. Okay.
I really like the Vulture.
I hate the Vulture. He's old. He's decrepit. He wears a green suit with wings on it, and he flies around. And he's not menacing. He's not threatening. He's not dangerous. A few of the Spider-Man characters are a bit zany and a bit like that anyway, but it's just something about this guy. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but they came out with a new Vulture a few years ago. It wasn't like the same guy kind of reappropriated or anything like that. They came out with a brand new Vulture. He was younger, he was dangerous, he was cool.
The exact opposite, basically.
He ate people.
Oh,
that's what
right.
made him cool. But that was pretty much all they had to do to him.
Was make him eat folk.
Was make him eat folk. For
pretty
me, that's
drastic,
where I'm.
Whereas what's been shoveled down our throats is some dude in a green suit that can fly. How can he fly? Is it just because he's got his wings?
Something to do with his back. I think he's got someone in his suit and his back that helps him fly.
Well, would that be wings?
That's why.
No, the wings aren't even like, it doesn't flap them, like it's some kind of gravity thing that he's got in his back. I don't think it helps him do it.
Right, okay. Well, the Vulture then, do you know what? Your pure contempt there for the Vulture has me won over so far, but Greg, you're going to storm in there with a DC character, aren't you?
Yep, DC character, and it's not particularly one that anyone will be like, oh, that's shite, which is one I don't like. Is a character called Vibe.
Vibe.
From DC.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Vibe, yeah. I only really found out about him when he got introduced in the New 52, and I figured that somebody so shit they wouldn't bring back, but they did. He was essentially created in the 70s or 80s when breakdancing was really big. So he basically was created as a breakdancer. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so there's no way that all he can do is breakdance.
No, he has a power. I can't even remember what his power is. It's one of those powers.
He can win over the judges of contests.
It's something to do with he can like can he shoot something. I've read it was in them.
He wore sunglasses.
He wore sunglasses. They wore a red scarf. That's yeah.
Right.
He was introduced into, I think it was Justice League of America in 52. He's actually getting his own series as well coming forward, but
Vibe.
he's just
this breakdancer that can shoot things.
Tell you how bad he was. Apparently, I can't remember what writer it was, but there was some sort of like anniversary thing for DC where there was a story that contained every character, or pretty much every character, and the writer hated him that much that Vibe's appearance in it was just his ankles falling off the panel. That was it, because he's just a shit character.
Well, you've argued well for that as well, and based on my scoring system of uselessness, comedy value, chances of being used now, someone actually got paid for writing that, and is he as good / bad as the Condiment King, who was a Batman villain? It was absolutely amazing. Look him up if you're reading this. If
you were at a hot dog stand,
aye, exactly.
Condiment King, save me!
Condiment King would come in and like,
he was a villain, and he'd be like, "What do you want in your hot dog?" And you'd be like, "Oh, thank God you're here. Tat ketchup, please." He put mustard on it,
and he would just
yeah, it wouldn't be poisonous mustard. It would
just be mustard.
It gives you, and you're like, I like that as well. Thanks, man.
Curses! You don't like it as much as ketchup, though.
You got away with it this time, but I'll get you.
I'll get you next time when you go to the burger van.
You bastard. You. Based on that scoring system, Vibe won out.
Oh, really?
Vibe
Good.
won out by 20 points to 17. It's 1 to 5.
It's off point.
I just 1 to 5.
This is like room 101.
Yeah. Well, Vibe's won out, so Greg's won up. So Tommy, you've got some work to do to claw this back for the second one. So your second terrible Marvel character. What
Yes.
Marvel character you just didn't like?
I just didn't like him, but he is terrible as well. His name's Leapfrog.
Leapfrog. Right, okay.
He was I don't know if it was 70s or 80s, but he was a super villain who had no superpowers really. He jumped in he wore a suit that's like makes him look like a giant anthropomorphic frog.
Good work.
Like if you can think of like
frog.
the way the turtles looked in the original
Right,
Turtles
okay.
film, he looks like that, and he jumps about with the use of these giant springs, and they were like 6-inch springs under his flipper feet. That he used to like bounce around and like get the best of the hero by jumping over his head and turning appeared behind him.
Surely his kryptonite, if you like, is like rust.
And the mouth of the frog suit that he wore is where he looked out, so you could see his face the whole time.
So he was basically like some sort of like Disney character on acid.
That's
Magic
basically what
Kingdom.
it was.
Just like-
He'd try and like steal money and stuff, and boing, bounce it on the road.
Nice. He sounds absolutely fucking terrible.
Yeah,
Oh,
When
man,
you
I
can
don't wanna
actually
be
see
that.
his face. He sounds pretty awful.
Yeah.
I mean, uselessness. He can just jump about. That's pretty much it. Someone actually got paid for writing that. Congratulations to them. You've got it in a comic. Comedy.
Speaks for itself, really.
Yeah, exactly. Chances of getting used now, I'd probably say they're pretty slim unless they revitalise them as some sort of ridiculous thing like Vulture.
Mm.
But
Just completely rewrote him essentially, give him a new name. Give him the same name, sorry.
aye, so I'm going to give nothing for that because I don't think he's going to get used. And is he as good as the Condiment King? I'm still looking for someone to score over 1 point for this. So you've got all to do here, Greg.
Okay, right.
You've got
Fair
all
enough.
to do.
Again, flying the flag for DC. My second character is Matter Eater Lad.
Matter.
Yeah. I looked him up and apparently, I'll be honest, I haven't actually read any of his stuff because I wasn't born in like the 50s and I don't really have a desire to go back and
Right.
read any of his stuff. But yeah, essentially his ability is that he can just eat stuff. He can eat matter. So if you were maybe stuck in a car or maybe locked in your house, you can eat the door. That's it. He wore this ridiculous like green and yellow costume as well. It looked like some sort of like clown, but he had like really nice windswept hair like a choir boy. But yeah, that's all he done. It's just eat stuff. That's all he does.
That's amazing. So stupid.
I think the picture, if you look him up, the main sort of famous picture of him is him like slowly eating a chain link fence. Do you know him? I mean, he'll get you out. He'll get you out of a chain link fence. It'll take him like days.
Take him a while.
Oh, he's got to digest the old chain link fence and everything. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, uselessness. To be honest with you, he has. I can't imagine him being quite useful in that
Yeah,
situation.
I mean-
if you can eat him out, if he can eat his way out of a house.
I mean, you can make money out of
Quite
that.
funny.
You could go on like Britain's Got Talent and like eat a bike or something.
But uselessness is pretty useless.
Aye, it is.
So,
Not
someone
quite as
actually
useless as
got paid for
Leapfrog.
that. I know. Someone actually got paid for that. Fair enough. Fair play to them as well. Fair play to them as well. Comedy value, absolutely. I'd love to see someone just eating a chain link fence. It'd be amazing. And chances of getting used now, both of them fucking slim. Let's face it, slim to none. I know they're as good as Condiment King. I've had to say that neither of them are.
Really?
Neither of them.
Condiment King is pretty useful though.
He's pretty awesome. So at the end of that round, he's going on to 1-1.
No.
1-1. Leapfrog wins out.
Now I'm
For being-
sweating.
Terrible.
Pressure.
So we've got our last round now. The clincher. And we'll start off again. In fact, I'll tell you what, no, we'll start off with Greg this time. Give him a chance to argue this corner first.
Okay.
You've got all to do in the second.
Again, DC. This is quite a good one. I quite like this guy. Arm fall off boy.
Right. Immediately I'm going for uselessness, a score of 5. There we go.
He essentially has one ability, and that ability is he can detach his arms and use... Say, you can detach his left arm and use it as a club to hit folk with his right arm, if you like. If he detached both his arms, he'd be pretty fucked. But yeah, that's it. That's all he does, is he detaches his arms and can hit folk with them.
Right.
And he looks like a shit He-Man as well.
Why even make him look like He-Man? Like, if it like his arm has fallen off. That's the worst idea ever. So, for someone actually getting paid for doing that, congratulations to them again.
I feel like I didn't actually justify why he's so bad, but I think he speaks for himself. Like,
I think even just the name.
The name
I like
itself,
that.
like,
Yeah, imagine the colour of the name. I've got this really good character. Well, I say good. I've got this character, what should we call him? Arm fall off boy?
I don't know, I reckon that must have been some guys at a pub or something.
It's a bit tongue-in-cheek.
They must
The
have...
thing is,
hopefully.
The thing is,
They
whenever I
went
hear the
for
name,
their comic, sober, presumably.
I would love to be alive in like the 60s though, because you can make it in comic books easily. You just get absolutely off your tits on drugs, write some stuff and send it in.
Oh man, arm fall off, boy, man.
Arm fall off, boy.
It'd be too easy. Like, elephant drum man. What do you do? It's just an elephant that plays drums. There you go.
Who's also half man.
It's half man as well. So if ever you're in a safari park and you're that drummer short of having a band, he'll come and play for you. Arm fall off, boy. Awful. Tommy.
Okay, this one is a character called the Whizzer.
The
Oh,
Wizard.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
Did you...
I've seen the Wizard.
Go and tell me he just pees. The Wizard.
Well, that's what his name certainly sounds like. It sounds like he just goes around like relieving himself all the time. But that's not actually why he's so bad, even though his name is pretty bad.
Right.
He's from the 40s.
Oh.
His costume is hideous. He's got a giant W on the front of it, so you know he's the Wizard. So you know who you're dealing with when he turns up on the scene.
He needs to have his name just written.
Does he have a mask? Tell me that he doesn't have a mask.
It does not have a mask. What it has is a helmet type thing that's meant to kind of be a nod to Hermes because it's got wings coming off the side of it.
Right, okay.
But it just looks... They put some kind of little head thing on the front of it as well, and it just looks terrible.
Nice.
He's a speedster, so that's his superpower. But it's how he got his superpowers. That was the most ridiculous thing that had ever happened. He went into the jungle with some guy, and he got bitten by a cobra. So the guy that he was with, to save his life, gave him a blood transfusion with a mongoose.
What?
Who are known to be quite fast animals. And that's how he, obtained the speed of a mongoose and became the Wizard.
See, the thing is, I seen him, I looked him up, and he just looks like a really, really poor man's Flash.
Yeah, he's really poor man's Flash. Totally.
But he's got mongoose blood in him, so I
The
don't know if the Flash has got that. You know,
It was in the 40s, it was somebody scraping the bottom of the idea bucket.
Man, we should go to DC Marvel and ask if we can use all 6 of these characters.
just have like a new squad of characters. So our characters are going to be the Vulture, the Vibe, Leapfrog, Matter Eater Lad, the Wizard, and Arm Fall Off Boy. It's going to be the shortest film ever.
You can't use the Wizard, man. You should just go with Mongoose, man.
Like just
all Mongoose.
Mongoose blood transfusion man. There you go.
Excuse me.
Right, well, to be honest, at the end of that, I think the Wizard and Arm Fall Off Boy are both as shite as each other. Let's face it. So I'm going to call that a draw. And who wins in that case? Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. And if anybody cares
apart from the creators of those characters who, if they're listening and they're not dead,
you should be. So everybody wins. Everybody wins. And if you wish to agree or disagree, get in touch. Get it in. Right, okay. So we're going to have our podcastly feature now of reading, watching, playing. It's going to work this week, or this podcast as well, because we can actually get someone doing reading, watching and playing. So,
Tommy should do all 3 of them.
Exactly, Tommy. You've got a lot to do. Right, so what we're going to do is Greg's going to do playing.
Yes.
Tommy is going to do reading because he's got a wealth of knowledge, and I was actually going to do watching, but I didn't go and see a film last night like I was supposed to. So
He's not committed, Tommy.
I'm
He has
sorry,
not done his research.
He had to basically go and sit on his arse for an hour and a half and watch something.
I just sat in my house instead, watching Transcendence.
There you go, watch something.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do Transcendence. It's going to be really short because I thought it was shite. So Transcendence, sci-fi film where Johnny Depp's in it and he gets into computers and then he dies and then.
Is it like Steve Jobs?
Oh,
You've just described Steve Jobs there. Gets into computers and then dies.
yeah, that's right. But I mean, by getting into computers, he assimilates himself to computers, and he sort of becomes a superhero, like a superhuman computer, and then he begins to be able to replicate himself, and blah blah blah. I thought it was shite. So we'll talk about Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool instead. To be honest with you, I've seen a bit of the test footage for Deadpool, and I'm pretty sure it was Ryan Reynolds. There's test footage for it, yeah. So there was test footage for Ant-Man, so they do like a scene, but it's like stripped down. They just see how it.
Is it just to see how he reacts as Deadpool? To see how it all looks.
It's basically, kind of.
Yeah, and the dialogue. It's got scripted dialogue and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think he suits it. To be honest with you, he'll be much better than he was in Wolverine Origins, I'm sure, because that would be just well.
I don't know if it's so much his fault. I think that was a great film overall, to be honest.
No,
it's just a bit.
The
scene where Wolverine and what's his brother like fighting on top of the big power plant was just looked
Sabretooth.
awful. It looked like something made out of Lego or something. It just didn't look right at all.
I know, yeah. To be honest, I liked Liev Schreiber in that as well as Sabretooth. I thought he was pretty cool. He's a scary motherfucker.
He was alright. He wasn't tall enough.
He
was shorter than Hugh Jackman.
You should watch any Tom Cruise movie. Fucking hate it.
Was he shorter than Hugh Jackman in it?
Yeah, I'm sure he was. Pretty sure.
Right, we're going to pause the podcast just now while we watch it. Yes, that's fine. So I think he'll do absolutely fine. I think if he stays away from everything else and just cements himself as Deadpool, then
he's not going to come back as Green Lantern.
Nah,
God.
Imagine if he did. That'd be. It doesn't bear talking about.
No.
That's what I think. So we'll move on swiftly from our one because I've been hideously unprofessional about it. And, who wants to go next? Shall we do a wee playing or a bit of reading?
I'll go. So, Tommy's looking away.
Still just shy.
Well, playing. I have got up to speed with modern technology and been playing the SNES.
Fantastic.
I'll be honest, I kind of wasn't quite as bad as you, but I did say I'll do Cannon Fodder, which is a great game. I'll do that for the playing, and I hadn't actually played it until a couple of days ago.
You actually did it though, so that's fine.
I did that. I did. The thing is, the first thing that struck me about Cannon Fodder when I put it on the SNES is how gaming back then was so unforgiving. Like level 3, I was like, fucking hell, fucking hell. Basically, it's just if you don't know what the game is, it's like basically a sort of strategic. Can you say that? You just bullshit up. Really?
Well, it is though. It's point and click.
No, it is. It's point and click on a console, which is kind of works, but not really.
I remember playing it. I remember always thinking that the controls were really weird for it.
The controls are mental for it. Like they literally have 3 things: move, shoot, weapon, and they've got 4 buttons, right? So you would naturally think that each button does something different, but it doesn't. It's like one of the buttons moves, one of the buttons shoots, and then if you press both those buttons together, it's weapon.
That's shocking. There's no fourth option.
You can change the buttons and whatever, but it's just I didn't figure that out. And there's no tutorial now like that. It's just like boom, get in there.
Getting out of it, just like in real war.
Like in war, that's it.
Yeah.
But
so what is the game?
It's very unforgiving, like real war as well.
There you go, man. There you go.
So really, what you're saying is, Cannon Fodder back in the day was actually ahead of its time because it was truly representative of what happens in the real world.
Until you play it. Kind of the thing is though, man, it's a good game. It's really fun. One thing that did sort of strike me about it was, like I say, the lack of instruction. If you like, it basically comes up and says you have 4 guys. You have to go and kill these buildings, kill these guys. It doesn't tell you how to kill the buildings. Like you got machine guns, so you go up to the buildings, start shooting at machine guns. Nah, it's not you do. You have to use grenades. I was like, fair enough. Try and sort grenades. You've got none. Where did I get them from? You have to find them. And then I didn't know this because there was a little crate sitting in the middle of the game, so I shot it purely because the graphics of it, it didn't look like a crate. It just looked like I just shoot anything that's not my guys because it's just all big pixels. But it turned out to be grenades, and I blew them up. And when you blow them up, you then get them back, so that you failed the mission. But it doesn't tell you that.
So when you just play for like an hour.
It just lets you carry on while enemies just continue to respawn. So you're just killing things for ages.
Unforgiven. Again.
That's it, Unforgiven. Till it's hard to surrender. But I'll tell you something that is quite good about it, and it is kind of ahead of its time, is the fact that like it's quite deep, and it got in trouble for this department when it came out, but it's quite deep in the sense that you see your recruits like walking along in front of this big hill before the game starts. And you see a wee queue of guys like getting called up for the army.
You remember they were all just sort of like they were running along the bottom of the screen to get in a line to. Is there like a little booth?
There's like there's a little booth on the left hand side, and the wee guy sort of like making them sign in or whatever. And there's like 500 guys overall for the whole game. And every time like you get a guy, I'll give you a wee name for a guy. For example, I had a guy called Ubik. He was the man. I got him killed though.
Rest in peace, Ubik.
Yeah, big Ubik. But but when he dies, when you go to the next mission, when you die, there's a wee gravestone appears. Like every single person that dies, wee gravestones appear in the background. So it's kind of like all these people, these new folk coming in, it's showing you the actual death toll. And it's quite kind of, I wouldn't say it's moving because it's like 2D graphics, but at the same time I thought, you didn't get that in like Mario or like Sonic or anything like that.
But that is quite like that's quite. There's a lot of thought that's gone into that, obviously, because you're sitting looking at it and thinking, "Fucking, I've let tons of my guys die." I think it's. Do you think it's maybe that they wanted to make people feel remorse for letting people die, like higher ups would in the army, where they would maybe go home after a tour or something and just sit with a bottle of whiskey and think, "What the fuck have I done to various lives?"
I don't know, but it kind of worked. I don't think it can have the same effect on me because I had a guy called Tadger. So he randomly came through. Like the guys that called like Tadger and that. Like if I'm walking about, you get like a Chris, Bob, and Tadger. So I'm checking about.
Tadger.
If Chris dies, it's no great loss. If Tadger dies,
oh well,
man,
that's a stiff blow.
Oh, that's it. But I was getting quite annoyed at myself for letting folk die. The thing is, you get no power of people dying because you just randomly walk along and just some of you guys forced indeed. You're like, what the fuck's happening? But yeah, it's good. Thing is, man, it's 72 levels for a game. 72 levels.
Was the kind of rough? What, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a level?
Yeah, some levels are like really, really short and simple, but are really difficult. That makes sense. The concept's really simple, but there's a mission. I remember it from my childhood. I've not got to it yet playing it, but I remember it from when I was wee. And it's like ice.
Oh my god,
ice! And it's got a lake in the middle.
Yep.
And you basically get a little jeep, and you have to like there's like all these turrets and tanks and houses that round outside of the map, and you've got to basically just keep driving round and round and round while they all shoot each other. Essentially, if you go into the middle, if you go to the war, you die instantly and all that sort of stuff. But it's so difficult. But it's easy. I mean, it looks easy. It's so difficult as a game. But 72 levels, and apparently as well, I think 92% was the lowest score it got when it came out back in the day.
Right.
That's
it
like
stands the test of time then, obviously. If you can buy it, like, when did it come out?
93.
So what, like 22 years later?
Yeah.
It's still holding up to the test of time. That's what you look for.
22 years. Cannon Fodder 2 and 3 are both out as well.
What?
Cannon Fodder 2 and 3.
Really?
Yeah, I looked it up. Cannon Fodder 2 and 3 came out on PC.
Oh.
Cannon Fodder 3 got absolutely slayed.
Oh dear.
I think Cannon Fodder 2 was middle ground. There's like loads of games like that when you look back in the day. There's loads of games that got sequels.
Yeah.
You know, like Street Fighter. Street
Fighter's still going.
No, sorry, I meant Streets of Rage 3. You ever play that?
Oh my god, yeah, that was.
I've played all of them.
1 and 2, pretty good. 3, pretty bad. Golden Axe 3, shit.
Double Dragon 3.
Double Dragon.
You ever played Double Dragon 3?
Yeah, I completed it in a day when I got it for the Master System.
Really? Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever got past the first level of it. Right, well that's my pretty shit one. That was like the hardest game ever.
I just got it like last year or something.
Double Dragon. Like,
I'm only joking. I got it when it was wee.
I think I say I'm only joking. I've never played it.
That would work just as well. That's amazing because you only got one life on that, and I just thought it was the worst idea ever for a game. Are you thinking Double Dragon 2?
Nah, pretty sure it was number 3.
Where you get 4 characters?
Oh no, it might have been number 2 then.
I was going to say.
You're okay, man. Your managed's intact.
Okay. Well, on that note, so you'd recommend Cannon Fodder. Getting a SNES and Cannon Fodder, and it cost you what, like 40 quid tops?
Less than that.
Oh, there you go. Free advertising for Super Nintendo.
I think Nintendo need it because they're struggling.
Yeah, they probably do actually.
Super who?
Right, we'll move on to Tommy now. So you've a few minutes left to talk about what you're reading at the moment.
I've read and I've finished an omnibus I got for Christmas there.
Alright.
It's called Sleeper. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's written by a guy called Ed Brubaker and the art's by a guy, Sean Phillips. It came out in the early 2000s and it's set in the Wildstorm universe, which was Jim Lee's imprint from Image Comics.
Oh,
It
okay.
later gets folded into the DC New 52.
Yeah, I was going to say that's aye.
So it's got some characters in it, like Grifter pops up in it and the Authority kind of pop up in it, but it's mainly about this guy who's a double agent who gets inserted into a supervillain organisation.
As soon as you said it, in my head I said Innes.
God.
He infiltrates, I should say. He infiltrates a supervillain organisation, and it's just it's like an espionage spy thriller, but it's just got this twist on it and slant on it that it's supervillains and superheroes, but it's really grimy and gritty and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Was it originally wrote like a sort of original piece, like a standalone piece, and then it got incorporated in DC, or was it part of DC going forward?
It was part of Wildstorm, so now the characters are incorporated into the DC universe, but I've never seen them pop up since this kind of. It was 2 seasons they've done it for, 2 12-issue miniseries.
Oh, right. Is that what they refer to comics as well when they do like successive runs of them as seasons?
They do in this one,
Oh, right.
which I thought was quite interesting.
That's
But I've never seen them get.
On the back of that, the word season just takes over everything now. It's like, oh yeah,
That's about now, isn't
aye.
it?
It's like, remember that TV series? No, I remember a season.
That TV season.
Yeah.
Do you remember that TV season?
Fucking Americans.
Again. Sorry for all the Americans that are listening.
Yeah, but
All
basically,
millions
without
of you.
giving too much away, it's like this guy infiltrates criminal organisation. His contact on the other side, the connection's cut, and he's kind of left like in the criminal organisation undercover. You know how it's like all those undercover films have always got that plot line running through it where the person who's undercover starts relating to the people who
Aye.
are meant to be the enemy
yeah.
and stuff like that, and their morality they bring.
Maybe
they
you're
start
not
to
so
question
bad after
themselves.
all.
Yeah. That's right.
It's like the question of their morality and stuff like that. That stuff happens, but it's really cool, and it's all in like one big massive book. That's the whole story's in it.
Oh, like a proper sort of like almost like a coffee table book.
Yeah, it's
style,
oversized,
like-
a wee bit bigger than the normal kind of graphic novels,
Oh,
and
that's
it's
pretty
So that annoyed me, man. Have it on your shelf and it sticks up.
Oh,
I
right,
have to
okay.
file it down.
File it down, get rid of a couple of panels at the top. Oh, cool.
But yeah, it's really cool. The team that do it, like they still make comics now. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, and they signed like a five project deal with Image Comics, which nobody had kind of done before. And their first project's out now. It's called The Fade Out, and it's quite cool as well. But they've done loads of other stuff together. They've done loads. They're brilliant.
So what kind of, like, who would you recommend it for fans of superheroes?
Fans of the spy genre, of thrillers even. It would totally work for them. It's got supervillains and superheroes in it, but they're not really. That's just the kind of backdrop for the spy
Aye.
story. You know what I mean?
Is that because nowadays, like, everything's about that? It's just to sort of relate to superheroes now. Everything's about superheroes, isn't it?
It is now,
apart from the sleeper.
Oh, you just said it's got superheroes in it. You
Right.
weren't listening.
But it's like it's 10 years old. Anyway, like the series is 10 years old, but it just got this massive reprint in the book, the big omnibus book.
Cool. So recommend it, aye?
Highly recommended.
Highly
By me.
recommended.
Sweet.
By Mr. Tommy Cree. You could say, by me, Tommy Cree.
That could be my tagline.
That should definitely be a
I can see it on the billboards and then.
Right, let's think this out.
Get a thing.
Right, sit down, stop what you're doing, it's fucking quiz time. Right, it's quiz time. 10 questions. I have all the answers and questions here. Rule number 1, what I say goes. Right?
Okay.
Then argue back at me. Rule
Okay.
number 2,
Why not?
don't shut the fuck up. That's minus point. Right? So, point system, right, mine. Don't
Right.
argue with that either.
Okay.
Okay.
All those points. Right? Buzzer. Richard, you got a buzzer? Let's hear it. Tommy? Right, good. Let's cut the shit. Question 1.
Right. Question 1. Let's go with that. Button
This one's a proper question. They're all
Oh, right.
they're all proper questions.
Right, okay.
This is for Richard's speciality. Say fantasy. How many members made up the Fellowship of the Ring?
I don't fucking care.
None of yous?
7. No, wait. 7.
Right, that's wrong. That's my point. Right. Points Tommy for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Question 2. Name 2 days of the week that start with the letter T.
Today and tomorrow.
Fucking perfect. There you
Quality.
go. That's 2 points. 2 points for Tommy. Today and tomorrow. Right.
Would you have got points for Tuesday and Thursday? Or?
No, it's not like that right now. Question 3.
Clever.
Maths. True or false?
False.
It's true. Minus a point.
I'm doing terrible here. Oh no.
Can't go against the logic. Question 4. This is a proper question as well.
Right.
What Sonic game first introduced Tails? Go Tommy.
Sonic 2.
Oh yes, Sonic 2.
I knew that.
Yeah, we point for that, but you're getting hammered. Right?
I know, right.
Question 5. According to IMDb, how many on-screen deaths has Sean Bean had? Tommy.
11.
I'm taking a point off you for that. It's terrible.
Oh, right, okay. Right.
Richard, do you want a chance?
I do. On-screen deaths, I think he has had 6.
Taking a point off you.
Oh, come on.
The answer is 22.
What? Bloody hell. You were halfway there.
Yeah, I know. I'll give you half a point then, Tommy. I'll just minus you half a point. Right. This is going well, I like it. Right, cool. Question 6. My Lovely Horse is a famous song from which TV show?
Father Ted.
Father's Ted.
Yes, I get a point.
That's you. I think that's your -3.
Yes!
Good.
Clawing it back.
Okay, question 7. Would you rather that you lay naked and I washed you all over with a sponge? Or I lay naked and you washed me all over with a sponge?
I'd prefer to be washed.
That's the correct answer. Well done, Tom.
Are we just going to breeze past that? Or does there need to be an explanation? Or?
Well, you can ask why.
Yeah, why? Why would you like that, Tommy?
It's nice to be clean, isn't it?
That's a good enough. Fair enough.
We'll go with that. Fair enough. We'll go with that. Cool. Question 8. What 2 words, when combined, hold the most amount of letters?
I get the feeling this is one that have you actually got an actual answer for this?
I've got an answer for this. Yeah. Do you want me? You can come back to it if you want. Come back. Use some thinking time.
Aye, go on.
Right, some thinking time. Okay, so according to the well-known phrase, eating a Mars a day helps you work, rest, and
Play. Yeah. Fuck.
Tommy?
I think it's play.
Damn it.
You're wrong. It's minus a point. The answer is put on weight.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Okay. It's a fine dining question.
Oh,
Fine dining
no.
question, right?
dining.
So, fine dining. In Haribo, what are the 6? What are the 6 flavours of gummy bears? Alright, this blew my mind. I didn't ken this. Go for it. If you get all 6 of them, I'll give you loads of points.
Strawberry.
Yes.
Lemon.
Yes.
Lime.
No.
Watermelon.
No.
Grape.
Nah, you're getting minus a point for that. Tommy, do you want to?
Nah, not really. I'll be honest. I
Not
don't
even
know the 6
strategic.
of the gummy bears.
Not even.
I think you should get points taken.
Minus a point for that. It's not even trying. Right. Okay.
What's incidentally? What are the flavours?
Oh, right, they can. I've got them, yeah. Strawberry, pineapple, orange, lemon, apple, and raspberry.
Ah.
They all taste the same to me.
Yeah, I didn't
Because
know
I eat
that
them a
stuff.
pack at times.
There you go.
Okay, aye. According to Rotten Tomatoes, what is the worst superhero film ever made? Give you a clue, there's actually 2 of them that are joint.
Oh, they're... Alright, okay.
Tommy, you better get this right.
Toxic Avenger.
That's a point for that. Richard?
Don't know. I will take Green Lantern and Batman Forever.
No.
No.
Take that point of view.
Oh.
It's Catwoman
Oh,
yeah,
God, yeah.
terrible.
Well, it's a good thing that we both forgot about that, to be honest.
and Elektra.
Oh, dear.
That was pretty bad, yeah.
Yep. Next question, Simpsons.
Oh.
What is Sideshow Bob's brother called? Oh, you buzzed him. You
Sideshow Bob's brother is Sideshow Bob's brother is called Sideshow Cecil.
Well done.
Voiced by David Hyde Pierce, brother of on-screen Fraser.
Niall Crane.
Niall Crane, that's all.
Well done, Richard. I'll give you a point for that.
That's very much.
I'm going back because I'm running out of questions, so I'm going to go back to the one. What are the two words combined that hold the most letters? Tommy?
Supercalifragilistic, I can't say it. But that one from Mary Poppins. And the same word again.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and xylophone.
These are both close, but the correct answer, which two words when combined hold the most letters, the correct answer is post office. Holds the most letters.
Oh my goodness. That's a Christmas cracker joke.
Oh my god.
I like how we came back to that one.
I know,
yeah.
End with a flourish. How did you get these questions from? Because I love them.
I can't see. Alright, okay, wait. And the last question. The last question is a tiebreaker.
Is it actually a tiebreaker though?
No. It's not.
It's a point for me to get a point.
I figured I'd keep this question to the last so I could see who was closest. If you were actually
Okay.
tied.
No.
Okay. It's a comic book question. According to the wiki page, how many deaths has there been in the Walking Dead season so far? Walking Dead comic series, how many deaths have been?
In the comic series?
142.
What's your guess, Tommy? Closest gets it?
202.
Nah. 1, 2, 3, partner. 123 deaths.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a point to Richard. So.
This isn't right, okay.
At the end of that, I need to add this up. So. Oh shit, I should never take points off. It's going to make it so difficult. 4.
Remember, when you add two negatives together, it makes a positive.
Shut up. I count. 5. Tommy? 1.5.
Thank you.
That's not a bad score, considering.
Considering my score.
Considering Richard's. 1, 2, 3. Minus 3? Minus 3's not bad.
Respectable, I would say.
Yeah, second place, man.
Respectable.
Second place. Cool. And what's that? Happy with that?
Yeah, this is a good feature. I'm a big fan of this feature. If you are and you're listening, let us know, and we might do it again sometime.
Quiz questions, man. That's it.
I don't know if could we do questions of that caliber every single week? Or...
What you mean? Show-stopping questions?
Show-stopping, yeah, exactly. Right.
So we're going to dig us it.
Get it down. Cool, that's us done for another week. Thanks very much to Tommy, our guest. Have you enjoyed yourself, Tommy?
I have. Thank you very much for having me on. It's been brilliant.
You're very welcome. You can come back anytime you want, or anytime we contact you to tell you we need a third party.
I will call you.
So, if you want to give us a shout, we are at the Desert Whales on Twitter. We are at the Desert Whales on Instagram, and you can email us on thedesertwhales@gmail.com. Thank you very much to Loot Crate, by the way, for retweeting a picture of my cat in a Loot Crate box. It's got us a wee bit of attention on Twitter, and if you're one of the few that's started following us or favourited that picture or retweeted it, thanks very much. And if you're one of probably the very few who are listening to it on the back of just seeing a picture of a cat in a box, thank you very much for your commitment, and hopefully we've not scared you off by talking absolute garbage. That's us done. So have we got a sign-off line for this week? Or are we just going to fuck something up again?
No, I reckon we should get a sign-off line. I reckon we should ask Tommy.
Tommy?
Oh,
shit.